Good morning and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining us today on this beautiful Thursday morning. Welcome wherever you're joining us from. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening to you, wherever you are. Hopefully, if it's nighttime where you are, we read you a beautiful bedtime story. But of course, enjoy it. I hope this uplifts your day and gives you something to smile about as we go on with our day. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. I have for you an amazing, brilliant book today, and this one is written and illustrated by Michael Bartalos, and it is called Shadowville. Good morning to you and welcome. I hope you're ready for this one. It will definitely make you think and wonder and of course laugh. Thank you so much for joining in today. I hope you're well wherever you are. Thank you. Please, as always, remind us, let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. Good morning and welcome to Story Time. Happy Thursday to everyone out there. Thank you so much. And remember, this week we're reading books that are related to light and shadow. We are exploring light and shadow, and of course we are partnering with the Tinkering Studio at the Exploratorium to bring you tinkering with storybooks, and that is happening tomorrow. So do join in for story time tomorrow, a very special story time where you can join in and tinker along and make those creations as well. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about this book. I'm excited about all the books that we've read this week, and yes, do join in tomorrow 10:30 for a very, very special story time. Good morning to you and welcome. Thank you so much for joining in. All right. Let us see who is with us today. Ellen Edwards in Chicago. Welcome. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining in Story Time. As always, how are you doing today? Ava Scarlett, good morning to you. And J.D. Yeomans as well. How are you doing out in England? Thank you so much for joining us today. Sharice Tyler, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in. Please, Sharice, let us know who is joining in with you. Thank you so much. Good morning to you. Lerato Chisomo, Kondwani and Temwani, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in. I am so glad that you are here. Thank you so much. Oh, awesome. Abraham Tulifia Wino Mulishani. Mwalila. Thank you so much, Terry McLeod and Abraham, for joining us from San Leandro. Of course, sharing a bit of Zambian Bemba right there. Thank you so much for joining in. I love it. Good morning to you. Joining in all the way from Zambia again one more time. Lerato Chisomo, how are you doing? With Kondwani and Temwani, how are you doing today? Thank you so much. Philip Chisenga, how are you doing, my brother? Thank you so much for joining in from Lusaka, Zambia, and congratulations on the big job that you just got. Thank you so much, and welcome to Story Time. Kalunga, how are you doing today? Nick Nack, my brother from another mother, how are you doing today? Katota joining us as well. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Love you guys. I am glad you're here. Yes, my hometown representing right there. Philip Chisenga and Katota Mbaya. Thank you so much for joining in, brothers. Love you so much. All right, Jade Yeomans, one more time. How are you doing today? And you say you're excited about the story today. You know, Ava Scarlett, that's one thing I love. You're always excited about these stories, and this one is a good one indeed. Thank you so much for joining in today. Nahir Torres, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us today. And Nahir, do let us know if anybody is joining in with you. Monica Mayer, how are you doing today in Berkeley, California? Thank you so much for joining us today. And please, Monica, let me know if anybody is joining in with you. And it is definitely all right to be joining in alone as well. That's what story time is all about. Great stories, great community. Thank you so much for joining in. Author Cheryl Oliphant, how are you doing today? And you're joining in from Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you so much for joining us today. And of course, if the name sounds familiar, Cheryl did bring us my daddy does not wear a cape, right? Thank you so much for joining in today. Absolutely love it. Thank you, thank you. I hope you're ready for this beautiful story called Shadowville. And this one is written and illustrated by Michael Bartalos. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we're reading this one with permission of Pow Books, an imprint of Powerhouse Books, which is a further imprint of Penguin Random House. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you're ready for this amazing book. All right, let us get started. Shadowville, written and illustrated by Michael Bartalos, and of course reading with permission of Pow Books, an imprint of Powerhouse Books, and is a further imprint of Penguin Random House. All right, here we go. Shadowville. Most every day, the sun shines bright from 6 a.m. till 6 at night. And where there is sun and sky this blue, you are sure to see a shadow too. Shadow birds and shadow cats. Shadow chefs in shadow hats. Shadow farmers, shadow pigs. Shadow barbers, shadow wigs. They are busy till the end of the day. Then quietly they creep away. 'Cause in the night there is no light, and shadows disappear from sight. Shadow planes and shadow cars, bring them all from near and far. Crossing oceans and a hill, they all head toward Shadowville. Some will surf and some will sail. Some prefer to come by whale. Shadow cacti from the Gobi stop for water in Nairobi. Then they walk without a stop and never spill a single drop. They've worked all day and now they are done. It's time for them to have some fun. Shadows wearing shadow shorts spend the night at shadow sports. They fold and bend and stretch like plastic. While you sleep, they are quite gymnastic. Shadow shoppers and their friends shadow shop for fashion trends. Everything from small to large, alterations free of charge. Shadows order all they want at the shadow restaurant. Though they've eaten huge amounts, they still weigh only half an ounce. Tell me your magic, shadows. According to the shadow map, this is where the shadows nap. 1 short hour in this tree restores their shadow energy. When they wake, they wash and scrub and shower in their shadow tub. At 5 o'clock, some shadows shave before they leave to start their days. Shadow vans and shadow trains bring them back to us again. Over oceans and a hill, they say goodbye to Shadowville. They take their places one by one underneath the morning sun. 'Cause where there's a sun and sky this blue, you are sure to see a shadow too. The end. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. I hope you enjoyed Shadowville, written and illustrated by Michael Bartalos, and of course read with permission of Power Books and imprint of Powerhouse and further imprint of Penguin Random House. Thank you so much for joining in today. I hope you enjoyed that one, and of course I hope it got you wondering, where do shadows go at night, right? Thank you so much for joining in today, and remember, the big event is happening tomorrow, 10:30, special story time with tinkering. Of course, we are combining efforts here with the tinkering studio at the Exploratorium as they bring you amazing tinkering work. So please do join in. Check out the posts below on the Storytime platforms and see what you need to collect so you are ready to participate in tomorrow's tinkering session. Thank you so much for joining in. I am excited. I think it'll be great. So please do join in. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring everybody and join in and tinker with the Exploratorium Tinkering Studio tomorrow. But today, this has been Shadowville, written and illustrated by Michael Bartalos. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. Thank you so much for joining us for that amazing book. But tomorrow, we are not done. We are back. Before tinkering, we will be reading another book related to shadow, and this one is one by some of my favorite authors, and this is Emmy Krauss Rosenthal and Tom Lichtenheld as they bring you Duck Rabbit. So do join in for that one tomorrow for that special story time. Thank you so much for joining in today. Let us see who is with us and enjoyed that beautiful story. And of course, do check out the links below where you can get yourself the copies of these books that we're reading here, but also do check them out at your local library. Those resources are there for you, so please check books out when you can. Thank you so much. All right, so we have good morning to you one more time, Monica Mayer in Berkeley. Thank you for joining us today. Absolutely love it. Cheryl Oliphant, thank you so much for joining in today out in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you so much for joining in. Sarah Foster, good morning to you. Harmony Beth, good morning to you. Now here you're joining in with Leo. I am glad you are here. Thank you so much for letting us know. Yes, my daddy doesn't need a cape. Absolutely. Thank you, Cheryl, for catching that one for me. Thank you. Yes, indeed, you brought us that amazing book. I am glad you are here with us today. Of course, Sarah Foster, you say we have a snow day here in Hudson, Massachusetts. Well, thank you for joining us, and I hope we made your morning cozy, or is it your afternoon that side, cozy with story time today. Thank you so much for joining in and for making us part of this beautiful day of yours. Thank you so much. And from Concord, right here in California, good morning to you. And Tanika Gaston, thank you so much for joining us today. Absolutely love it. Thank you. Heather Kitamarike, how are you doing today? Sekam Mbazira and Kitubira, how are you doing today? Thank you so much. Sekam Mbazira, how are you today? And Kitumire. Thank you for joining in. Oh my goodness. Good morning to you, Karen Wilkinson. How are you doing today? Joining us from the Tinkering Studio. Thank you so much. Good morning to you, Steph. Good morning to you, Casey. And of course, good morning to you, Ryoko, as well. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. Looking forward to our special Story Time tomorrow. Ava Scarlett, have yourself a beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining in. I am glad you are here. Thank you. Yes, one more time to Subira, Sekamwa, and Mbazira. Yes, thank you, Heather, for catching that one for me. Absolutely love it. Good morning to you, boys. Great to see you. I always seem to forget one. To Subira, Sekamwa, and Mbazira. Thank you so much for joining in. Rex Isagir, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining in. Please do let us know where you joined us from. Thank you so much. And here you say, great story. Absolutely. I love that one. Pema and Maya, how are you doing? Daki Sherpa, good morning to you. Thank you for joining in Story Time today. Oh, this has been awesome. Thank you for joining in. Please remember to join us tomorrow. Special Story Time with Tinkering for the Exploratorium Tinkering Studio. So please do join us tomorrow, 10:30 Pacific Time. For now, I wish you a beautiful day, beautiful rest of your day. If you're going to bed, have yourself a good night. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. Of course, much love from me as always, and I will see you again in the morning with all the excitement with the tinkering team. Thank you, and have yourself a beautiful day. Much love. Bye-bye.